Hey, what's up, everybody? We're going to try something a little different today. I actually am running my AX8 direct as opposed to the CLR in-room sound that you probably heard if you watched my other videos. I don't know how this is going to go. I got a microphone hooked up, so my voice might be a little low. I just can't seem to get the volume right on this. I have the AX8 going into my Scarlett, the Focusrite. It's an 18i6, the older model, and I'm running left and right into the first two inputs on that, and this vocal mic is going into the third input. I basically have to get right on top of this mic to even see any kind of waveform using Logic to record the audio on this. So let's get down. As you can see on the screen here, I started messing around with the Plexi model in the AX8. Now I came across I was trying different IRs out, speakers and stuff. I've been using mainly the Fractal ones, but I found a folder on my hard drive that was, I got a bunch of speaker impulses from third party. I know there was some 3 Sigma audio, there was Red Wires, there was Own Hammer, and I found a folder on here, and I don't know who made this impulse. It's a Greenback cabinet, and all it says is Greenback 01. If you can see on here, that's it right there. Greenback 01. And I don't know who makes this cabinet. If anybody knows, 001. If anybody knows and can let me know, I'd like to give proper credit to this. And when I was going through all the amps that work well with Greenbacks, and I kind of like the sound of this speaker. And what I did here is all I did was put the low cut around 78 and the high cut around 9,000 here. I didn't really hear much of a huge difference when I did that, but I just left it at that because it sounded good to me. So that's my cabinet. I have it at the end of the chain, and I always put it at the end now because, after learning from some guys on the Fractal forum, if I want to use my AX8 with my actual 5153 head and 412 cabinet, I can just add an effects loop here right on this thing, and that'll give me the proper routing that I need for that. But this is mainly for, if you can see right here, that I name it. I always name it RA for my name, and the amp, which was the Plexi 100. If you see it on here, Plexi 100 jump, and then I put CLR, so I know when I'm using my CLR live, I know this preset will work with the CLR because that's what it was dialed in through. I haven't actually tried it through my monitors here, so you're kind of hearing it first time that I am too. Just making sure the guitar's on. All right, so let's go through this. Cabinet's at the end. So I started with the amp, and it's just a 100 watt, and I kept the treble drive right at 5. The way I set this up was with scenes. So I'll go to the foot switches. So I have a scene 1, which is what we're on right now, and I have scene 2, which is going to kick this drive in. Now for solos or leads, I have a volume boost of 3 dB right here, and that's how my board is laid out. And I'll get to this other stuff once we move into this. So back to the amp. Now with the Plexi, I don't know why this keeps changing, but with the Plexi, the normal drive, I took it down because it seemed to take a lot of the bass down out of it. It wasn't as muddy or mushy sounding. I upped the mids. I took the treble down. I kept the bright switch on, but I took the treble down because I don't really like a bright guitar sound. You can probably tell that from my other videos. A presence kind of down to, and the master volume on the Plexi obviously all the way up to 10 to really push it. Now, I usually don't touch the EQs or anything like that. And any of this other stuff, I've always come from the school of, if you're at an amp, whether it's a real amp, and you're just using the knobs on the front of the amp, if you can't get a good sound out of that, the way the amp sits, then you're gonna start going crazy with all this other stuff. I know a lot of guys like to dig into this stuff, and I probably eventually will, but for now, I just stay with the basics, and I just do it this way. All right, so that's my amp. I have a little bit of delay, which is the mono tape, because the resources, I'm at 87% on this, and you'll see that my reverb is low too, because if I go any higher, which I really wish they would have put a little bit more processing power into this, because I find that I can never use the ultimate, highest setting reverb unless I just use reverb on a preset. But I have all this other stuff here that I need when I perform live. All right, so the delay is mono tape. I always set it so I can do tap tempo, and the mix is really down on this. The reverb is I've been using the ambience on this one at 1.25 seconds, and the mix 10%. I don't like a crazy amount of reverb or anything. So let's see how this sounds. So you can hear the reverb a little, you can hear the delay. And that's just my normal crunchy, I don't know. I'm only using 2 scenes, so I'm hoping to use my volume knob. So if I lower it like that, by the way, I'm using my Sambora ESP guitar that's in my previous video, just because my other guitars are restrung for my gig Friday night, and I don't want to use them right now. So I'm using this guitar because I have to restring this one. It's got a nice sound. It sounds better through the CLR than it does through my tiny M Audio monitors here. So that's my scene on the foot switches. That's going to be my whether it be I need clean or just a bluesy type sound where I can just switch the neck pickup. That's going to be for that. Now, let's go to some of these other effects here. The phaser, it's the same phaser I've used on everything, which is Script 90, EV8 setting. Let me try to turn it on. It's kind of behind me, so the phaser is on, and obviously that's going to pause. I'm going to click to resume that. So you want to play something like Van Halen. It's just, it's there. It's subtle. It's just enough for me to use. I use it in the guitar a lot. Just enough to add what I need. So that's the phaser. All right, so Flanger is another EV8 setting. It's a stereo jet. You can see the rates at 0.172. It's I don't use that much, but I need it for a couple of songs, so it's there. Now, what I do to get high gain, I wish I could just click on this amp and XY it and add in, I don't know what's even in here, 5153. Blue is in there, but I'm trying to keep it on the same. I'm trying to build a preset with just using 1 amp, so the switching doesn't get crazy and there's less gap in between switching. So I'm trying to use this. So I'm basically just going on to scene 2, and I'm adding a drive. And now the drive I'm using is the T808, the modded one. I got the drive at 5, the tone at 2, because this is already a really bright amp, and if you keep the tone up, it's going to make this higher gain setting even brighter. And I got the mix at 100, and I put the level all the way up to really, like you would do with a normal a tube screamer, you would really hit the front end of the amp. So there's a lot of gain, probably some guys out there would think that's too much gain. It's actually less than I usually use. And I'm still able to get the harmonics that I need. I keep playing that Dokken song. I don't know why. I haven't listened to Dokken in a long time, but I just recently added a bunch of their stuff to my iTunes, and I don't know, George Lynch is he's crazy. But that's my, so that's scene 2, as you can see on the foot switches again. Scene 2. So I'm only using these two to mainly go between two different sounds. One is, like I said, volume on the guitar to clean it up, and just a good crunchy rock rhythm. And scene 2 is just adding the drive in to get, you know, a lot heavier than I if I need it. And I also kept the drive here, so if I'm on scene 1 and I happen to hit, I got giant feet, so the spacing on the buttons on the board, you know, I usually hit it right, but if I happen to hit scene 2, or if I'm trying to hit scene 2 to add the drive, and I hit this third button, it'll turn the drive on for me, and I can turn it on and off whenever I want. All right, so now this button here, button 4, is my volume boost. So I'm just going to put it on here, and here's without. So I'll add it in. Hopefully you can hear it get louder. Off again. So anytime I need a lead, that's what I'm going to do. So if I go back to scene 1 without the drive on, there's a song like Who Says You Can't Go Home, where I don't need all the gain, and I can actually keep the volume down a little bit. I can actually hit this and get my lead volume that I need. All right, now, as in my other video, I had this other delay here, which is more pronounced. So the delay I have running at all time is, you can hear it. If I need a more pronounced delay. And that's on foot switch number, I believe it might be 7 or 8. It's just, like I said in my other videos, I'm not a crazy big effects guy. I just like having these little things here and there for throughout the show that we play that I need. So let's go to scene 2. And now I have this pitch set up here for songs like You Give Love a Bad Name and Never Say Goodbye. It's just an octave pitch. It's a fixed harmony. The voice 1 shift is up 12, which is an octave. I set the mix at about 65%. Is Never Say Goodbye. It's basically, that's all I'm using as far as pitch goes for those two songs, and you know that effect is pretty prominent in those songs, and you know, the solo. Sorry if I'm fumbling here. If you could see the way I'm set up with this microphone and the guitar and the computer and everything in front of me, I don't have much room to move, so every now and then my hand is hitting the mic stand when I'm trying to play. But that's that. And with the way that pitch is, I don't need to hit the volume boost on it, because I find that in the room anyway, I've been finding that hitting that pitch block, the way I have it set, even though at the level's at 0, it's just adding that other sound to it. It's making it loud enough where I don't need to hit the volume block to boost it up. If I do hit the volume block, then it's going to be way too loud out front. So it's set up pretty well. I think that's basically it. I'm trying not to go crazy here with this video as being long, and I know a couple of people have said I talk too much, but that's me. That's the way it is. Yeah, there's some playing for you right there. And yes, these strings need to be changed. I've been using that 5153 preset, but I actually might try this one on Friday night at my gig, at least during sound check, to see how it sounds out front and how it's sounding in my in-ear monitors. And if I don't like it, I'll just switch back to the other one. But the whole reasoning that I since I got this AX8, I've been having a ton of fun with just going through the amps, the 220 plus amps that are in this thing, and not really building presets out of every single one, but just playing through them and checking out different speakers and seeing which ones work well. I actually was having a blast yesterday playing through the Fractal's Super Tweed preset, which is an type of amp that I would never would normally play, but I was having fun with that yesterday, and I was getting some cool sounds out of it. So definitely, if you have the AX8, and if you're like me, I'm more of a Marshall guy, and I like the Friedmans and the 5153, that type of heavy sound. But spend some time and play through some of the other amps. Some of them I don't like at all, but that goes with anything. But a bunch of them, they're really, really cool, and I find myself getting lost. I'm in my room here, and I stop playing. I'm playing them. Next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later, and I'm like, oh no, I need to stop this here, because I'll just keep doing that all day, which is good, because a lot of people start saying, well, you end up tweaking more than you actually stop playing, and I'm like, in the past that was true, but the modelers have come so far where you can really get a good sound like really quickly. You can drive yourself crazy, like I said, with all these other things here that I try to stay away from, as I mentioned earlier in this video. I just like to tweak the regular amp settings, and whatever the default is on all these other things, I leave it there. I just approach it like, the actual amp. Like I said, with the Plexi, and this has been posted, all over the place. The Plexi, you got to turn it up. They also say to turn up, the treble and all this other stuff, and turn the bass all the way down. But I tried that. It just got really harsh to my ears. It must be something with so many years of playing guitar in front of loud amps that high frequencies like that just bother me. So that's what I like. It cleans up really nicely. Really. Hopefully it sounds okay going through my monitors here, and then what it projects out to you guys watching and listening to this. But that's my Plexi preset that I came up with. Not that anyone probably really cares, but I did want to. The main reason I did this video was to try this new video recording method. You know, the screen with my Mac and using Logic and running guitar at the same time. So I did have some requests to go direct, and I've been, as I move along making videos, it'll hopefully get better, and maybe I'll get another camera at some point. But that's it for today. Thank you very much. Like I always say, hit the thumbs up button if you like the video. Subscribe. I can't promise videos every week or every other day or even every month, but I'll do as many as I can. And if anybody has any questions or any requests, please let me know. Talk to you soon. See you soon. Thank you.